right now. Sonic Wave is there, it's getting low and low. Oh! They've stolen it! Malice have got the Baron!
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the LCO. We've got a third game to get to, but before we do, the dishwash check. You guys in chat said it was a longer break. You're going to go do your dishes, and if you haven't, well, look, you might be banned. Unfortunately, I have lost my ban hammer, so I'm not going to be able to hit you with it and knock you out of chat for now. So please don't spam emotes, don't spam Mac jams or rat jams, whatever you really like. Don't do that at all. If you do, I got words that are not coming through right now. Unfortunately, I can't think of them. But of course, look, what I do love is a good bit of League of Legends. We've got a third game to jump on into, and it's going to be Direwolves up against Gravitas. Gravitas definitely could be in a position to get another win on the board, but Direwolves looking pretty good since the other day. So we'll see what Gravitas can bring on in. Of course, nothing changing too much in the lineup. You know, they're still trying to find their feet, find that chemistry. They've had a couple of changes in the previous couple of weeks, Skimmy.
Yeah.
But look, I feel like at least mid's looking pretty strong still.
It is. I've been a big fan, big advocate for Daejong. The biggest change you will find, though, is the roster that took on the Direwolves last time, right? They had Tyrant on the roster, they had Thomas Shed and Vixper as their bot lane as well. So a very different outlook has been showcased since the weeks have gone by. So no doubt it's going to be a chance for them to showcase, once again, that level of growth, the decision to field them as the 5-man roster. And you're sort of seeing here a few really good punishes from Gravitas, right? There were moments where they're able to showcase, look, if you're going to go that way, we won't be disrespected. A lot of these Cosmic Radiances were landing, and we're winning them fights, playing Piglet to play this far up, make little moments of magic like that there to keep himself intact. It just reached a point where it was a little bit too much to answer to, right? The Diana Yasuo became online. Rogue was phenomenal on those Rakan engages to make sure there was the insurance policy.
Yeah.
But it's always going to be a tough ask against BGG. So I think Gravitas are in a hot position to challenge Direwolves a lot more evenly this time around.
I feel like, look, they have what it takes, don't they, Rusty? But look, when you're looking at Direwolves, they seem to just be having a bit more success. You know, mechanically, they do have a lot of skill in that mid lane in Kyose. Now, that's where I feel like a lot of the action's going to be today, that mid lane head-to-head. But of course, let's talk about the whole roster first. Bulldog, definitely a character, at least in the interviews. And in a couple of Team Con videos, I have heard he is a good laugh as well. So, I guess anything you want to talk about in terms of Direwolves here?
I mean, we look at Direwolves and we have to look at what they did yesterday, right? We knew for a while that they were capable of playing the Janna style top laners, right? The smite support top laners. That's exactly what Zoranis did pull out. But they started the game off by losing the Wolf Camp, losing level 3 on their jungler. Their jungler then had to go back to Raptors before they tried to dive mid lane. It was on Vision because they didn't have a sweeper. So they did a lot of things incorrectly on the idea of the strategy, and I think they just got a big wake-up call that competitive is not solo queue when it comes to executing that, and that Chiefs were a different breed of team to contend with because they handled it expertly, and Direwolves are now in a situation to perhaps go back to the drawing board with what they're going to be picking. One thing to note that I thought was a positive from that game is that Frost still ended up 6-1, right? Still ended up getting a lot of kills on the board and kind of gave them a condition against the Chiefs, a win con, where they maybe didn't have one initially. They brute force that out from just sheer talent, I think it's fair to say. And they are good players, so lots of potential there.
Now look, you've heard from us, but now you get a chance to hear from the Direwolves. Of course, they've sent in some of the good content, so let's see what they provided.
Let's get ourselves excited here for the final game of the day, opening up week 3, and as we do...
Like if we get one gigafed, we have you. Yes.
Good luck, good luck, good luck.
Wait, they're going all in?
Yeah, but should be a red turret. Okay, I think he would have tried. I think this is wooded.
Nice spot.
Good job.
Return to the scene of the climb. Bot lane is where we go. The plates are about to fall on down.
Yasuo is here.
Dino, get Dino, get Dino.
Yes, we're going. Dine flash. Keep going.
Yes.
Just go for Sin and out.
To engage and ensures that Frost gets a double, Gudo gets another, and between them they've got 8. Third Drake of the game. Direwolves already have 2. In jumps the moon.
Just resets.
I can't pick it. Oh, what the fuck?
I'm with Jimmy, it's okay. Jimmy, it's okay.
Nice.
Shot down by Frost. A little bit too strong.
Team fight victory, Kyose.
Alright, Nathan.
He wants a one-shot. He really wants to try and take them out underneath.
Alright, Nathan.
Set up fire.
Oh, Nathan.
Oh, that's Nathan, baby. That's
Nice.
Nathan. Yes.
Alright, that's it for
I'll
now.
say the absolute Giga Chad. Guess the answer is we want to
now.
As Gudo jumps in, baits the ball into a false sense of security.
Jinx 3 hits. It's good.
Yes, that's good. That's good. I'm gonna exhaust.
Dyna? Yasuo no ult.
Yasuo.
Yasuo no ult. Keep going.
Down. A shutdown found from Tron the Pomper as the Undying Range expires. It's soon to look like their chances of winning this team fight will too. Frost hits double digits. He's just dead, Rusty. There's no...
Oh, I got exhaust.
Dyna, no.
Go Dyna.
There's Dyna. I exhausted. Ignited. Yasuo, in. Just get in.
And that's not a how are you. That's potential pentakill being teased.
When Direwolves had they were going to throw it away, at the end of the day, it was pretty easy from the Direwolves.
They got rid of it. Oh, I was trying to hit the QR code that was there. I just wanted to see where it took me. So unfortunately, can't tell you where it went because I was too slow with my phone skills. I'm an old man now. I just am a bit fumbly when it comes to that sort of stuff. Anyway, good content coming through from the Direwolves. Got to listen in to a couple of the shot calls coming through. A little bit of the communication. Anything you want to touch on from that, Rusty?
No, I mean, I enjoyed seeing how positive Bulldog was. I think the most out of that piece of content, like the positivity that comes from him. You got to hype up your team when they make good plays on stage. That's how, you know, they continue to make them. So I like what Bulldog provides for a team beyond just the gameplay.
Yeah, Bulldog, he provides so much damn content. Similar to Kitty, so let's bring her back into the conversation because we're feeling flat on the desk. We need some... What are you doing?
I wasn't ready. I was trying to scan for the QR code as well, but you guys dragged me in. Why, man? Okay, but
Did you
jokes
get it
aside,
though? Do you know where it's going?
I didn't get it. You guys pulled me in for the interview, so obviously I didn't get it. But someone who is always ready is Gudo, so let's pull him into the desk. Hello, Gudo. How are you feeling day 2 of Super Week?
Hello, I'm very confident to win today. Yes.
So we were seeing from Dials that you guys have been pulling some wild drafts in the past few games, but that Janna top game from last night was a bit dire. Are you guys trying to win with the element of surprise, or is this genuinely a playstyle that you guys think can boost you up to playoffs?
Yeah. But like, the reason why is like Cameron used to play Janna top with like Smite top and solo queue like very times, but like somehow he got 1k OP with that thing. So like, we were like kind of confident. Like even though in scrim set, like with Smite top, we were like winning every scrim set. So we were kind of confident, but like on the game day, it's like different story. It was like kind of flipped, but it is what it is. We have to move on, even though it has been loose. So it is what it is.
It is what it is, but from last night's game, it was obvious that you play a crucial role in the team, especially when you played the volleyball. When you pulled the trigger and engaged on the carries, the team followed and was dedicated to the fight. Is this going to be Dials' main advantage?
No, like I don't think like this one man take every situation like situation by situation. Like every situation is different on the game day. Like no matter what, you have to play everything like on the crucial like engage or like damage. Like just you have to focus on what you have on champion on the game. So it's like I played Bolivia yesterday, so like that was my low for yesterday. That's why I played like engage or thing. But today, like no one know what am I gonna play. So like you guys just should be just like let it go. Just who's what champion I'm gonna play.
We surely don't know, but you definitely do, and we're all very eager to find out. So best of luck in your game, and hopefully everything goes smoothly, Gudo.
Thank you.
Always good to chat with a top-notch jungler like that, man. Now, I did love and respect the volley pick yesterday. Big volley fan myself. But, unfortunately, feel a bit flat, as you mentioned. Now, good to get that insight, though, to hear from them saying that, of course, the Janna pick through scrims all week was working, so leak and scrim info, but wasn't executed on the day. And unfortunately for them, it really just sort of caught a couple of people off guard who thought it might have worked, right, Rusty?
I mean, the thing is, as well, and I know, like, everyone knows that this is the thing, but, like, scrims and games are not the same, right? And everyone kind of goes into scrims with a killer mentality. They're going to be aggressive. They're going to do X, Y, Z in lanes. and they're going to improve from that, and then they go on to stage and they do none of it. They're super passive, and that type of consideration actually has to be taken into account for a lot of teams when it comes to, can we play this scrim champion on stage? I think that was a good example.
Very true. Now, let's talk predictions. Let's see if anyone is joining me in backing Gravitas. No one is. All right, well, I don't know why I'm even asking the question anymore. It's the same. Are we going to see some difference going into Game 4? Anyway, justify to me why, Skimmy, Direwolves are going to win today.
I just think they've got a cracked formula. You just never know what they're going to play. Maybe they themselves don't even know what they're going to play until the draft actually happens. And I think that keeps teams on their tippy toes, right? Unsure really what to prep for, how to set themselves up, how to try and find that drafting advantage. Certainly lots of avenues for them to pursue. That's why I always find them an exciting team to watch.
Okay, well, I'm believing in the Zhong supremacy. I reckon there's going to be a Diffie in the Miffy. Sorry, Kiyose. What about you, Kitty? Any thoughts?
Well, I'm just excited to see what Direwolves has in store for us. They picked the Vayne top, the Janna top, you know. What are they going to pick next? So I think with the element of surprise, they will take over Gravitas today.
Okay, what about you, Rusty? Any thoughts on why Direwolves are going to make this an easy affair in the Rift?
Yeah, I mean, I think so far Foreigner and Dajong just haven't proven to do too much together as a duo, where I think Kiyose and Gudo can get a lot more done as a 2v2. So that's probably where I would be putting most of my efforts towards, and towards is like how Direwolves will get the win. Because if they get ahead, then I think 100% they can just carry the game through.
Of course, the mid-jungle. Every team has the strongest mid-jungle in the LCO. We've had that conversation before.
Yeah.
And look, I think the thing is, like, Foreigner, I'm liking what he does, but I think when Azus was there, I just liked what he did better. Maybe I'm just being partial because, of course, Nocturne got picked that one beautiful day. Speaking of beautiful days, it's another beautiful day right here because the sun is gone, the moon is shining, and Champ Select is fortunately ready.
I'm looking all over the show, Mac. I don't know what you're looking at, but that is the beauty of a remote production. Here we go into Champ Select to get to see what happens in this second affair between these two teams, looking to try and showcase which team is better this time around.
Yeah, I mean, a lot to prove for both teams, right? 1 and 5, I think versus 2 and 4, very close on the standings. Gravitas starting to improve pretty steadily right now, week by week, and the improvements can be noted. I think, you know, Piglet is someone that has stepped up a lot, and Trust seems to, so far, have been an upgrade for them. There's still a couple of really strong identity gripes that exist with Gravitas. Strategic diversity almost non-existent in that respect. Which is okay for a team that's still developing, right? As long as they're improving the things that they're aiming to improve. But so far, we look at this draft phase and a really important champion still available, Skimmy.
Yeah, really important champion is available. What's also worth noting on is some of these bans, right? The fact that Daejong has had pretty much the only person in the league that's at this affinity towards Zoe, that's removed. Big target towards nobody with the Ornn as well as the Scion as well, which seemed to be a proven recipe for success after last night. And the Ahri removed away before Kiyose gets a chance to shine with it. What's also interesting, which we can deep dive into a little bit later, Frost has only played 3 champions so far. Jinx, Jhin, and Zeri. He gets it again.
Yeah, it seems like people are not banning ADs against the Direwolves full stop, right? Like, Red side tends to be the role where the AD carries get banned, but look at what the Direwolves have had banned away from them. Gwen, perhaps because it's flexible, we know that they can. Graves, definitely because it can be flexed, but Zoranus just seems to prefer that champion. And then Ahri, because Kiyose, even though he went 0-8, we know that he's an Ahri player, and I don't think going 0-8 was a 1v1 mechanics thing. Like, it was definitely a team playing towards him and making mistakes early. So leaving open a lot of the ADs means that Kate Lux will be seen on the other side. Zero Yuumi is the supposed response, and Chant is usually going to be the thing that matches the Kate Lux if you want to scale. You can go Leona, you can go Nautilus, but note that if you make one mistake, you've really got one punch at it, Skimmy, and then it starts to go downhill if that fails.
So it does. Very strong combo though, and it showcased its proficiency time and time again from Peace in particular. Gravitas no doubt looking to try and tap into some of that bot lane magic.
That's so weird. To be frank, the Volibear choice is odd to me. Volibear Syndra isn't a duo for any specific purposes. Zeri doesn't rely on either of these champions in the comp. They've foregone the Yuumi, which is the obvious pick. They've also foregone Xin Zhao and Viego, which just exist right now. Lee Sin also an option. So we've got ourselves a very unusual draft, and if there's any team that would draft in this manner, it's definitely Direwolves. They are super unpredictable.
What's interesting to me is if you look back at some of their performances of last year, this would have been Kyose's most played mid laner in the Syndra. Also, Gudo's most played jungler in the Volibear. So, we're not just a case of comfort. They're running it back and saying there's obviously a lot of champions up for grabs. It just feels like you're giving away a lot of the really strong informed champs, like the Zen, like the Yuumi, as you mentioned.
Yeah, I mean, it could be Yuumi Karma bans. Like, I know Karma feels a little bit odd, but like, if you get rid of what is a pretty high wave clear support champion, it means that Caitlyn Lux can play the waves a lot more successfully, and Zeri has a harder time, right? So I think the fact that they have foregone support means that they're kind of putting themselves into a bot side Leona style gameplay. We'll see. Because with the Volibear locked in, it was very easy for Gravitas to see that one, pick themselves the Trundle, and now Volley's super reliant on having that ultimate to really navigate fighting in a skirmish standpoint. Waiting to see where they choose to go with that comp. However, Trundle with Lux with Caitlyn is exceptional as well.
Yeah.
So top laners, I mean, you could go down the Jace path, right? You could be full poke style League of Legends, or you could pick your tanks. So we'll see.
Thanks for the question, though. Given nobody's champion pool from what we've seen in the past, at least, Ordenstein are his top two by a significant margin. After that, you're diving into Mordekaiser, GP, Shen. I mean, it definitely goes against the grain if you're considering GP as a poke champion as such. Definitely up there. Not the same as a Jace, though.
I feel like, yeah, nobody is going to probably... I mean, this is a thing that we said before draft, right? The predictability of Gravitas is sometimes painful, but it could just be a blind fourth pick set angle, just accept reality, or a Gragas, right? With Graves, Ornn, and Sion removed.
Sure.
But like you just mentioned, his champion pool gets a little bit weird past those two, so we're not actually sure where he's going to go yet. And what we also know is that mid's locked in, so picking mid fourth here for Gravitas is a logical choice, because they see the full mid jungle matchup, and Victor isn't winning in this mid lane, but it controls pretty well past Lost Chapter, in that you can just wave clear, get your E evolved, and then you're kind of just a scaling Syndra for team fights.
I just see so much CC, though, so far locked in here for Gravitas, right? You know, one moment, a flash binding, a pillar, whatever it may be. There's a lot of punishment to follow.
I see what we're doing here, Skimmy.
Wait.
It's a top Zeri.
Okay, so let's just quickly dial it back a second. Xeranis has played a unique champion every single game. He's not stopping now.
You never know.
He's not stopping now.
Yeah, look, and here's the karma that we expected. So Gravitas choosing to ban the Lulu are going to give up on the opportunity for extra wave clear. 2 Direwolves, at least in their lane. Jhin Karma is more of a safe, longer ranged AD with a Karma that's going to focus on a bit more of the poke and the wave control. It's better for bush priority, I feel like, as well against the Lux in the 1v1 between supports.
Yeah.
But Kate Lux together is just super oppressive regardless. And now that the hand has been revealed, because the blue side Zeri flex was shown and top lane was kept to be a counter pick, they've opted into the Wukong.
This is interesting for me, right? Because we have seen only a handful of top lane Zeri games. One that springs to mind was up against the Shen. Definitely can bully you, right? Definitely can have a little bit of fun up there to abuse the range, abuse the dashes, be safe on a side of the map. And you're just thinking, can Wukong, with his passive, with his dash, apply enough pressure that that range actually means nothing?
And Wukong has so much gap close and engage, right, with the double ultimate that he can throw down. He's also not always going to be targetable when he uses the W, and the decoy tanks for him. Decoy also does damage and can knock up with the ultimate. I feel like there's a world where nobody has a lot of outplay potential against Xeranis. Now Zeri in a solo lane can work and does work. It's often seen in solo queue. I mean, there's a lot of people playing it in both mid and top lane, right? Zeri's pretty flexible in that respect, and that's why she's such a powerful first pick. But blind into top lane, I feel like, is where there's the most risk. Because mid is a short lane and can be more safe and protected. You can just sit back and farm. Top is a long lane. And you are reliant on being, 1, on the right side of the map, or 2, having the wave set up perfect so that you can't get ganked. Because you have exceptional walls to jump over, but a Wukong can chase you down. So looking at the junglers and how they influence top is going to be a big deal. Remember, Gravitas have such a strong bottom lane 2v2, a good scaling option in mid lane as well. I really like their composition.
Me too. Me too. And I do also ask the question, Rusty, does this mean that Gravitas are going to change their priority you know, are they going to invest any resources, any time at all to poke their head into top lane and say, let's just try and shut down this very nice and early, or is it all on the bot lane? Don't fix a formula that has proven to be their style for the last few years, and just invest in making sure that this Caitlyn and Lux snowball into infinity, carry themselves through that mid game, and then hand over the keys to Daejung's Victor.
I mean, it definitely is going to be win bot early, win through mid and bot late, right? Pushing turrets is always going to be the goal of a Caitlyn Lux, breaking plates, opening the map up to be a Caitlyn Oasis, and then working with the crowd control that your composition has so much of when it comes to those team fights. Objectives are probably going to be the name of the game for them, right? Set up the traps, have the Victor gravity field. Wukong flanks is going to be a big part of it also. Like, again, just looking at Gravitas' composition, to me, I like this a lot. It makes a lot of sense. And then Direwolves are the team that kind of drafts in odd orders and throws everything, including the kitchen sink, at your opponents. Their unpredictability does sometimes make it hard to draft into, so the fact that we're complementing Gravitas is a big positive.
Certainly is a big positive. I always like the kitchen sink phrase. It gets me every time. Here we go, though, loading into game 3 of the day. The Direwolves taking on Gravitas for the second time in a row. Gravitas hoping for a second win in their second meeting for revenge. Let's check in with the coaching staff again to get some thoughts and feelings from the side of the Direwolves camp as we welcome back VALIXAS.
Hi, how you going?
Yeah, very well, VALIXAS. Good to have you back with us. I have to ask, because it has really been the theme of the split so far, hasn't it? You've shown so many of these wild drafts, I suppose, to paint it. You know, who's really at the forefront of all of this?
To be honest, it's Draku. We saw him in Twitch chat last week asking for Yumi Smite top, I believe. So then we just thought, okay. We'll just we'll send Zerenis on a journey.
It just sounds to me like that is a content goldmine. Get Twitch chat to draft for you. You know, we're looking at obviously Zerenis in particular. He's playing pretty much everything that's available in the roster. Is there a lot of input from the players themselves saying, this is what I think is strong, let's just make it work?
Oh, for sure. Like, on a real note, like, our players are very open-minded and flexible with the picks that they can play, and we don't want to be closed-minded with like exactly what we're going to be drafting on any day. So even for like, the Soraka mid lane, for example, like Hyosei is a very well-known enchanter player. He loves his Soraka, his Lulu, his Karma, his Seraphine. So we just explore all options that each of our players have in their arsenal.
Yeah, makes sense. Makes sense to a T. Well, I'm always excited when a brand new patch comes out to see what Direwolves in particular do play. Wish you boys the best of luck as we crack on into the game.
Cheers, thank you.
Okay.
Good time, isn't it?
Oh yeah, we've cracked on into this game, haven't we? That's just a casual level 1 first blood for the Zeri. That's weird. I feel like we missed something in that top skirmish for that to be so easily possible for a Wukong to still have flash. And for a Zeri that's level 1, in a minion wave to be able to find enough damage to get a kill. I understand harassing and poking, but that's a lot. In my head, I don't see how that's possible.
Yeah, it does seem a little bit confusing. I'm not sure if we will get a replay on that one. We will. Thank you, observers. So what have we gone for here? We're just literally level 1 biffing it.
True. We've decided to walk past the minion wave. The classic strategy of my minions of my safety blanket. What if I don't use them? Tech. Yeah, that's the tech.
Okay. Weak side Wukong. Here we go. Well, that's interesting.
Oh, yeah?
Glaze over that. Okay, yep, cool. Another kill happens in the mid lane, so we'll see what happens. Well, Gudo's going to rock up and maybe make it a double kill. Looking to try and take down Fono, which does have double buffs, and he is just going to fall on Dan, as will Gudo. So only one double buff remains, and thankfully for Hyosei, as the mid laner, he's loving it.
Yeah, it does result in a...
Oh, no.
Oh my god. Okay, let me talk for 1 second.
Can we talk? Can the observers work? What's happening?
Piglet dies. The Karma Jhin obviously working out. I feel like the replay band's going to have to get paid overtime for this one. We've got 2 kills in mid lane. So Hyosei's able to come back with the Sork boots at 3 minutes. That is huge. Victor is pretty reliant on just slow poking with the lasers. So that's going to be pretty significant. Top is now just winning for Zerenis. You can see through the CS and the gold difference once Zerenis gets that base off. The only issue that he's going to run into is that he's not running teleport. It is the Ghost. But Foreigner's up here. We'll see how they go. A level 4 Zerenis does mean he'll have a point in E, so very hard to gank once again. Expect. But bot lane, the thing that we didn't get a chance to see as well a Caitlyn Lux dying early is really devastating for their lane stay, right? They want to slowly control you, threaten with Lux binds, and follow that through with a combo.
Yeah.
Karma Jhin can handle it, but it's not always that simple. And this is also a really nice move, Skimmy, from the Karma.
Good read on the map so far as two waves are stacked up. Frona did decide to say hello through the lane, but ultimately is going to back away to pick up those golems. Now look to try and use the sweeper to see if there's a repeat gank available on the cards. His Bulldog's just going to recall in the middle of the lane. Should prevent any gank taking place. Instead, maybe now, Dai will say, we're going for it. The pillar won't stop you from dying. He can just dash straight through it. Gravitas now has a double kill, 40 CS to 15.
So, like, first of all, this is one of the first times in the LCO we've seen a top laner, rather a support actively reset from bot towards top. It's really important to highlight that because top laners do enjoy a support gank. Kyose's got another kill, we don't get to see it. Meanwhile, bottom.
Every lane, they aren't waiting for junglers, they're going for blood. Deadly Flourish connects across the wall. As Frost can't commit to the kill, he needs to farm the CS. Will be locked in place, but yeah, absolutely, continue. I say continue, maybe I've cursed him. I do believe Rusty is just disconnected. Well, here we go. It's going to be a solo cast for me for the next few minutes, so bless Windows updates. Let's go and see what happens in the bot lane right now. The stun does not connect. Well, I should say the root, rather. But a crash of thunder comes down. And that is literally Lux doing Lux things. The pillar to follow things up. Gravitas want to try and even out the odds. And trust was so damn low. But Frost cannot connect before he does fall on down. 6 minutes in and 9 kills. Bless this one. It's a little bit of everything so far. Really do have our work cut out here from every lane to really check in with what we can in fact see. I'm just very curious now really what this top lane looks like, because as far as things go, we've only had 3 games of the top Zeri internationally at least. As far as the spring split goes, the build itself, the variation, not really going to find it. Should be seeing much the same in terms of your classic Trinity Falls, into Titanic, you know, Runans and so on. Maybe a bit of variation if you feel like it for Bloodthirster, for Poke, or perhaps Black Cleaver if you just need to shred down some of these tanks. We'll see a lot of tanks in this game. Maybe give yourself a subjugate in your own regard. But Direwolves, with a 2k lead, bear in mind, despite all this chaos, will in fact go for the first Drake. As we may now get a chance to breathe and take stock of what the map looks like. It's certainly not going to be the Kyose performance of yesterday, where we had what felt like a 0-8 support Ari. He's 3-0 so far on this Syndra. He's dusted the book, unlocked the cover, and found himself in a champion of old, performing to the best of his ability. This is going to be a very scary Syndra. It does put a lot of pressure now on Dejan to try and find his way back into this game, because it's going to take a lot more before we can even discuss the idea of scaling and late game one-shot Chaos Storms. But I do believe, you know, looking topside at least, you have to feel for nobody. He's taken a gamble at level 1. It's proven absolutely devastating. We mentioned before the CS, he's managed to claw it back to at least 20, where it was down at what, 40? It really felt like at a point in time. But there were just bounties in mid and top, and the mad side is himself and Xeranis. The gambles worked out. What will they do next, though? That is the question. Uncharacteristic, to say the least, when you pick this... Are you back? Are we here? Ah, fantastic. Glad to have you back with me.
Full back. What have I missed, Skibby? I know you've been solo casting, I apologize, but listen, my computer saw the first 8 minutes and thought I'm done.
Yeah, well, we have just seen a whole bunch of action where dives have taken place. Thankfully for Gravitas, actually managed to get 2 kills in the bot lane. But if you can take stock of the map right now, Kyose is rather large. I'm very concerned for Daejung's Victor.
The only thing that I saw, what I was talking about just prior to that full shutdown, was the Bulldog 1 top lane. This Foreigner is going to be engaged a little bit here, Skimmy.
Yeah, he may in fact. Xeranis wants to keep that buff active for the meantime, but a stasis trap just like that says no. And they will be forced to back away. But as far as things go, it's the perfect start for Direwolves.
So it seems to be. I mean, Kyosei, if he's going to get kills this early into the game, on the Syndra vs Victor matchup, we mentioned it in Champs Select as well. This is winning for Syndra. A lot of the time, they tend to have better trades and better push early. But it still went a little bit too well. Top lane, this matchup, which is meant to be pretty solid, I feel like, on paper. I'm not intimately familiar with the Zeri vs Wukong 1v1. Imagine knowing that. But it feels Wukong favored on paper, right? At least in my head it does. And so this swung at level 1 so heavily. And then Bulldog winning top lane by being there to help the wave crash, catches the counter gank. It's actually free for top now. The Wukong's looking already, he's thinking about the future in team fights, but yeah, Gudo's here.
He just can't play the game at this stage, right? The Chilling Smite goes out nice and early. He's going to look to try and flash Cyclone to save with a turret, dive you underneath it, and say, where are you going? You burnt the flash, you've got no clone, you've got a dash, but you're jumping back in. Are you going to find a trade? Of course you're not. It's far too tanky. Volibear is a beast.
Yeah, big dives there. Being able to cancel the turret's auto attack is obviously going to be a big factor you have to consider for dives. Frost is going to try and use his ultimate to clear the wave here. He knows Foreign is nearby. Force shot goes off just prior to the pillar skimmy, but the threat still remains.
Yeah, what does he have though? He's got double summoners, so he can flash cleanse. He burns them both nice and early. The TP comes in to back him up. Kyosei actually teleports into a trap. Not what you like to see, but it looks like this is a fight that Direwolves will win regardless. Are they actually trying to give it to Kyosei? That's the question, because look, he's so low. They are chasing him down. No, don't say it so. Have you just given that kill across
Bulldog
for free?
has flash, he could have Mantra Q'd. They're going to break top turret regardless. I do think that was a kill that Karma chose not to take. So Bulldog, sometimes you can be a little bit too selfless, but that one might come back to haunt him. But nevertheless, they are still winning top at the exact same time. And honestly, I don't want to talk too much about that dive from Gravitas, but I don't think that Lux needs to position with a Trundle on a dive. I think you stay with your Caitlyn on your safe side of the map. Ends up behind enemy lines, wrongly so.
Let me find the aftermath of it though. Hits the subjugate, gonna flash on forward with the Sheen. Proc can put it in a lot of ways. He's getting juked by the turret. He's getting juked by the turret. Frost just has to run. He's just dead! Oh, no, no, no. I'm closing my eyes. It hurts.
No, it genuinely is painful now. Dajung's ulting to clear mid-wave because he knows he has absolutely no shot at contesting any 1v1s. I don't think he wants to be a part of a team fight. This goes from bad to worse. Oh, I'm actually physically in pain.
If we had caster cam replays, I literally just stood out of my seat. Oh, man, it hurts. It really does, and
you ever just like subconsciously start massaging your temples? That was
yeah, we're getting headaches ourselves.
Woo!
Hang on a minute. Hang on a minute. Nice finding. Delays the inevitable. Thunder comes down. There's the crash. There's the dash. And there is the claws to your face. Look how greedy Direwolves are in a regard. They really want to make sure that Kyosei is the most fed member in this game. They are spoon-feeding him. They are donating him. And ultimately, he's 5-0 right now. Nobody else in this team is interested. It is the Kyosei shot. They've got to be careful. They are biting the bullet, all out of necessity to try and min-max.
Piglet tried his absolute best. I mean, full respect to the AD carry here of Gravitas. He almost ends up getting a kill, net connecting, but you're now dealing with a 6-0 Syndra. There is an exceptionally large opponent now on mid, on top as well. Jhin and Karma, they've survived the laning phase. I feel like that's fair to say. The rest of your team is in shambles, and you are going to suffer the ultimate price for that.
So, when we talk about Unleashed Power, I think it really is going to be its namesake at this point in the game, because, 6-0. Very scary Syndra. Look at the gold graph. Leaps and bounds ahead of the rest of the team. It really is all about them, and I'm just waiting for that one team fight where we get to a Drake, where we get to a Baron, where we have a flip happen, because you're bound to see it. Whereas Renis and Kyosei look to try and steal the show and delete everybody, farming for those multi-kills.
Dragon going to be mostly free here. Gravitas might be feeling themselves with a bit of a contest. They're kind of in for a penny, in for a pound.
He's just gone. And Lux does not get to play the game today. The Drake is still held in suspension. There is the 50-50 flip as we highlight, and Foreigner wins it this time. The curtain call goes out. The full shot doesn't connect, but the binding there is good from Karma. Off screen, Renis is literally running down Victor saying, hello, where are you? This is my map to play. He's now 4-0, but will die to the turret shots as Piglet plays clean up.
I mean, Sorodus is straight up 8 turrets deep, just hunting down Darjug. No fun allowed for this Victor. Because no matter what happens, Kyose is going to win the team fight. I think Direwolves are starting to have a little bit of fun with it because they just know how fed their mid laner is. And once again, I mean, you saw how quickly Entrust died. That's a Lux when they're behind on the ball. And that's not an ultimate from Kyose. That's how much damage he's doing. That was potentially lethal. I don't even think Kyose expected to do that much damage with the ult still on, ready to go.
I'm terrified. As soon as the Shadow Flame comes online, I don't think anybody exists. I think they're all gone. I think one orb. Max Q, which it already will be, that alone is a concussion.
Oh, alright, here comes the ult.
Doesn't need play-by-play. You just watch it. It's cinematic.
He outplayed them. I mean, I don't know what to tell you, man. Like, I don't miss when Syndra was the forefront of the meta and just pressed R and people died, but we're going to get a taste of that again. A taste of what used to exist. Especially, actually, you know what, with the new items as well. If a Syndra gets a fed, they are devastatingly powerful.
Yeah.
Shadow Flame, just press R. He's already, he's like legit call it at 15 minutes. He has 2 full items and Sork shoes. Like,
It's my favorite call when you have champions like Syndra, like Vega. You just say, oh, just press R. And it certainly can be as simple as that.
Yeah.
They're just gone. They literally are Thanos. Click your fingers. And they cease to exist anymore. Goodo gonna go for the second Herald of the game, pick it up once more. And Zerenis just gets to have fun as an AD in a solo lane.
But just a second there, it was 15-55 in game. The score was 15-5. So that's a little pog moment.
Oh, true. A lot of damage. He is not going to die because Bulldog can just act as the bodyguard. Curtain Call goes out once again. Kyose chases to the right. Zerenis comes in from the top side and says, where you going? And gives himself his 5th kill of the game. Direwolves, I mean, this is their playground.
Oh, 100% anywhere they want to go, man. They should honestly be breaking this turret before the Herald charges as well, if possible. That would be much more efficient. Kyose is actually going to tank to ensure that happens, which is correct. And when Shelly gets her wits about her, we'll be charging the next turret in mid lane. Kyose hits 1 QE combo. I'm envisioning a half health everybody.
There you are.
That might have just been the E. Just quietly skibby.
We need some LPL Syndra right now, don't
Honestly?
we? You know, out of vision, hit them across the wall, 3 members locked in place, they're just one shot.
I think, honestly, QE kills Entrust.
I agree.
That's missing 2 ult buttons, one of them an ultimate. That's how much damage he's doing right now. I'm not sure Entrust has much more health than Piglet. What do you even do if you're Gravitas? You open your arms super wide and hope that they throw themselves at you in an advantageous way.
Yeah, look, it feels like one of those games where you're lost for words, right? As a player, no doubt, must be incredibly demoralizing, and you're looking at the current state of affairs and thinking you just need a lot more time. The bot lane condition that should have snowballed ahead hasn't been found. The turret is disabled, the ult connects, the Victor is dead once more.
Cool.
Really at this stage, your best chance seems to be these 50-50 flips. You're hoping that Direwolves get a little bit too big for their boots, get a little bit too cocky, and that you can seize the moment to come back.
I don't know what Entrust was honestly doing in the river either. I think they are just accepting reality, playing a little bit too aggressively now, and no matter what happens, it seems like Direwolves are just going to continue to push ahead. Wukong hasn't really been seen on the map. Unfortunately, that started super early. Mid just cannot compare 1v1. It doesn't exist, which means that 2v2 doesn't exist. AD is the only place where you would say they are matched evenly, but this isn't a 1v1 game. They're not playing rounds of 1v1s. There's going to be too many people nearby to influence that one. So this game should just be business as usual for the Direwolves camp, which honestly, Gravitas are close to just thinking about tomorrow already. 18 minutes in, 10,000 gold gap.
Oh, for sure. Save your mental, check out, this game's a wash. And, you know, down 10k at the 18-minute mark. Never a pretty sight, especially in a competitive game. Can't afford to get too mentally invested in this one, given the fact that we have 3 weeks of Super Week action. Lots of games, lots of fatigue, lots of time for you to bring in your A game. No doubt Direwolves at this stage are padding their KDA. There it is. There is the one shot. Kyose flashing forward for an easy double. The Chaos Storm is there. And it's going to be close to actually posing a threat on Kyose, but he should just be able to recall to safety.
It really was just a QE, wasn't it? The ultimate was used on the Victor afterwards. Dragon going to be secured at the same time. And Foreigner has resorted to split push jungling. That's when you know everything's just a little bit backwards in this one. But hey, you got the turret bounty. You take what you can at this point, right? It is just crumbs on a mountainside, unfortunately.
Yeah. One of those games where you have more kills than the minutes that have gone by. Really, you look at Gravitas and think, what are you fighting right now? And it just feels, as you saw, you know, those objective bounties, but you really are hoping that Direwolves try to go for those montage moments where somebody like Zerenis, somebody like Kyose gets punished without the flash, tries to go for that 1v5, tries to farm a pentakill, and maybe find an avenue to abuse those respawn timers or potentially capitalize on a 50-50 flip of an objective.
You know the crazy thing about bounties, Skimmy? There was, I think it was 10,000 exactly gold difference, and that last series of plays was, in my mind, a fairly even trade overall, right? It was a mid-turret and a kill versus the outer turret top lane. But the bounty gold on that, on an inner turret and a side lane, actually brought it back an entire 1,000. So this is one of those examples where I know it's not going to mean much in this game, but trading evenly when you're ahead is often just sinning. I think that's a cool little way to show that.
Yeah, I think we've seen it a few times where you've been outspoken on the matter, right? Whether or not that's going to ever bite teams, but no doubt something to keep in mind as we work our way towards those playoffs. This is the Gulag, the belly of the beast, the time for you to shine. But you will have to play it in multiple games. And Direwolves probably don't want to check out of this one as it stands. Looking for a kill, not going to find it. Gravitas playing very defensively as they look to try and assert any kind of vision control because it just doesn't exist.
No, it doesn't exist, it can't exist. I mean, this is one of those moments where I want to throw a bone to Gravitas strategically. Their only shot is to steal this Baron to buy time. There's one blue trinket, they have one left, but it's not like the Caitlyn can get there.
Here we go. There's the montage moment. Piglet lucky to be alive. Ace in the hole comes out, but Zerenis is zooming around the map. Locked in place by the Cyclone. Sidesteps with ease the final spark.
He's so fast.
And look how fast he is. I mean, can we check in with what he's at right now? Because that looks like 900 MS. He's absolutely got his Nikes on. He's going for a run. He's got the 10k kilometers locked in place. Cardio working overtime. And the rest of the team say, don't worry about us, mate. We'll get the job finished over here too.
And if we give one option to Gravitas to steal the Baron, Direwolves have absolutely no need to do it right away. Dajungi's spotted. No safety now.
Sweet dreams.
Fish out of water. It's a Luxalt angle. It's on cooldown. It will be a Luxalt angle.
They need 5 seconds.
It's gone.
It's gone. So many fragile members. But he just can't find the kill that they so desperately need. Nobody is here.
There's two so low.
They have no flashes. They can't engage. Look how low they are. This is the one moment, surely, if Gravitas had a chance to shine, to get some bounties, to get some kills. They cannot find it, and Direwolves get away scot-free with a Baron.
Dobby doesn't even get a sock this time around, Skibby. There's just nothing for them. Baron secured, mid lane outer turret. They're going to try and push this down. I mean, if I was Piglet, I would be intentional feeding to break that turret bounty. That's my actual play, and I think that is unironically the best option. I'm not sure how much the bounty is worth, to be fair, but that's what I would be doing. It's going to be a reset regardless, and now they have to deal with a Baron empowered Direwolves. They push down what is presumably mid and bottom with the play for Dragon on the disengage.
I really don't know if we're even going to have a game that goes the distance towards a soul point based on the current trajectory. It looks to me as if Baron Siege find another peck and wrap things up for what could be a very quick day again. What do Gravitas still have left?
All right, so it is a Void Staff on the board now for Kyose. He has enough damage already. This basically means he can kill anybody, right, with a QER combo. That's insane damage. I don't know if you can stop this push, right? As long as Frost is protected, the push will remain. And even if you push back the AD of Direwolves, that cannon will be putting in work. Spell slinging only does so much.
Synced up waves as it stands right now, looking to escort in the next, which will not be for the meantime. Keep your eyes on Kyosei. Wherever that stun goes, the team will follow.
Nobody's trying. Like, they're desperately trying to get a flank, but you have to remember that Zeri is here as well, pushing in that side lane. So the second someone goes to deal with him, Direwolves kind of have the gates open. Their waves aren't really synchronized at all here. You can see the wave in mid's going to get cleared before the one crashes in bottom, so this really does hurt their push. Threat in more than one place is nice. This is a nice way to circumvent it. Zoranus.
He's just going in. He's looking for the kill. He's just out of range there for the kill on towards Foreigner. It was so close, but he's still got the old active. First inhib goes down. The second soon to follow. Look at the damage of the Syndra. Disable the turrets and guarantee more. Frost explodes into action and gets a few kills to his name. Triple kill for the Jhin. And now let's look for that final kill. There is the ace. It's a perfect one at that. It's a 25-minute victory. Get your dancing shoes on. And Trust is checked out of the game as Direwolves will win the game.
4 kills for a Jhin. It's poetic, Skimmy, but the victory was really easy for Direwolves in the end. You know, we didn't get to see a lot of these kills. It's crazy how much happens back to back to back, and we barely get to keep up with all of it. The first kill happens top lane level 1. The second kill happens immediately in mid, ends up being a double for Kyosei, and then the only thing that was going the way of Gravitas was the bot 2v2, but not early. Not early when the Jhin Karma still got kills down there as well.
Yeah.
So very hard to look at a game like this and really find an avenue of entry if it's as simple as you are just losing lanes, even in places where perhaps you should be winning them.
Yeah, the game plan really for that one was let's just lane check everybody, get the egos online and see what we can do with it. And ultimately, Direwolves found themselves winning out on all fronts there, Matt, because they had so many kills, so hard to really track everything that was going on at once.
Yeah, it was that was rough. Looking at all the games today, I was like, look, these can be very entertaining. And I guess that was still entertaining, but I did not pick this game of all the 4 games to be the stomp. That was just, you know, Direwolves in charge from start to finish. You could see Gravitas at times. They looked like they knew what they were doing.
This again.
But, you just hate to see it. Foreigner, a victim to tunnel vision. And then, look, there were moments where Gravitas tried to get things going, but again, Direwolves were just all over it. Now, looking at the champion composition, that draft, it was scary and it threw me off, and I'm loving a bit of Zeri in the top lane. Zoranus making it look like a good damn champion up there, but, you know, was it the fact that nobody's used to playing this sort of weak side? Did he do everything right, or are we seeing nobody sort of have a couple of rough performances here, Russ?
I mean, again, like, I'm not too familiar with Wukong versus Zeri, but in my mind, Wukong should actually be able to handle that. And I can't help but feel like nobody misplayed big time. I mean, he died level 1, so obviously he misplayed, but I think that should actually be better than we saw. And I think that's true across the board, Max. So nobody having a very rough game without a shadow of a doubt. And then any kind of way back into that was ruined by Bulldog roaming at level 3 towards top lane. The infamous support to top roam that every top laner fears, but massively successful this time.
Now, looking at the total damage dealt, Zeri and Syndra both absolutely popping off, and Statsman has told me 1,091 damage on Kyosei's Aerie, 1,579 on his Luden's proc. So that is a decent percentage. Like, what is it, like 10% of his total damage as well, just off the runes, like a bit more than 10%. That's pretty insane.
It's just not fair. It really just isn't fair, though, because he hit Luluden so early on into the game. The Shadow Flame was completed whilst, you know, some players were still looking to try and first item complete. And you just saw it multiple times. There was that 1v1 into Piglet down bot side where he just one-shot them. You saw it at the very end there where he literally hit the multi-man orb stun. I'm just hoping we didn't get to see more, because there were moments where, you know, if you're all about the montages, you were just licking your lips and saying, give me more. Because everything was there for the moment to add some music, get that, you know, dirty as dubstep in and have those moments like, oh my god, the Cinderella story. It was gross.
Licking lips, huh?
Yeah.
That really kind of hurts my tongue when you have stubble all over your face. But someone that doesn't have stubble on their face on the normal occasions is Kitty. So, I don't know, Kitty, how's your cosplay going? You getting that tradie cosplay down or what?
Well, I don't know about the tradie cosplay, but my chin is quite smooth because I don't have any stubble. But someone who might have a little bit of stubble is Kyose, and I brought him in for the interview. Hey Kyose, I'm sorry, but congrats on your win. You had an absolute monster performance on that mid lane, ending the game with your best score so far, being 13-0. What does this mean, win to the boys?
It's just like good motivation because we've been like, inting a bit lately, especially from last game, and yeah, so it's really good for the morale.
It's always nice to have some morale, but Syndra has been the go-to pick for these matchups against these long-range mid laners like the Victor. What made you want to draft Syndra?
Well, they kind of grief draft because I blinded Syndra and they picked Victor, so that's kind of on them. But yeah.
Oh. Okay, well that's my fault. But you still had an amazing performance on the Syndra. Bit greedy of them for picking a counter matchup. Don't disrespect Kyose. He will dominate you on that Syndra. But
yeah,
hopefully you've been doing well.
Yeah.
Indeed, it's been a while since our first interview, King. But hopefully you have a good night's sleep and have some good rest for tomorrow's game, Kyose.
Alright, see ya. Bye.
Only kings can be RE1 tricks.
Oh, man.
That's all I'm saying.
Just reminds me there. What up, King? How you doing?
What up, King?
Everything's going fine. We got counterpick. No worries. We're just going to dominate him anyway. So, a lot of action going on for Kyose there in mid. Solid interview, Kitty, coming through there. Now, we got another game to get to, but before that, we have a player of the game. And it is Kyose. There you go. So that was the man we had a chat to, of course. Kitty spoiling it as 90% of the time, talking to the MVP. But at the same time, look, wouldn't have it any other way. The script that's been written, and Kyose was part of it. 13-0-4, a great day at the office. And look, 60% kill participation when you're a part of 17 kills. That's insane. There was just so many kills going that game, Skip.
I mean, if you look at the KDA, as you quite rightly point out, and say that was only 60%, what on earth happened in that game? You're bringing up that VOD, you're watching it, and then you're halfway through thinking, what is this match? Really, what is it? And what has been this Super Week so far, Mac? Because you just can't call anything. It just can't keep happening this way.
I think I'd like to see it happening this way again because we want Kyose to break more ankles. I want to see him having a banger rest of the split. And look, remember that stat I pulled up, I think it was last week, when I found out that Kyose, in the 100% of the games where he's smiling from beginning to end, they actually get dubs, and that happened again today. So, it's a stat, it's true, and I'm telling you, it's in the footage. If you go back and watch the player cams, it's there. Now, not only is it in the footage, it's in the fans. I've got a fan down here, but I think we've got a couple of fans out there too. And you guys have sent in questions because for some reason you think that we have life experience and can answer these things. So Sebisaw wants us to tell him hype song recommendations. Who's it by again? One sec, I got this. Rusty, what's your favorite song?
Oh, geez. I mean, if we were going to the gym, I've linked Skippy my playlist. It could be hardstyle. It could be heavy metal. So let me pull up real quick. Because
Rusty and I share so many songs to each other. Exactly those two genres. Hey, we got ourselves pumped.
Yeah.
I'm assuming this is like hype song for the gym, and my #1 of all time, and will continue to be #1 for the rest of time, is Arnold by Luke Million. It just gets me going, gets me pumped. If you don't know what it is, it's the one where it's like up, down, and it's got like Arnold's voice in it. It's pop.
I mean, that'll always work, right?
Yeah.
So mine's not going to be a genre that anyone, or the very few people will vibe with, I reckon, Mac, but Akudama by Alpha Wolf.
Ooh.
If you put that one on, it legit just, or like Gasoline by I Prevail. It's just songs where they scream at you and you can't help but lift more weight. You know what I mean? So like that's hype for me because it's for the gym. For going out, I'd have to link the playlist. I don't remember the song names, man. Hardstyle's got too many artists.
I can't choose one song. It's actually too hard. I had to find this tweet. I'm just going to link playlist here.
Yeah, look, I'm pretty sure I linked my Spotify playlist I was making for people that want to get pumped. Call it the Sweat Zone. you know, you'll find it on Spotify if you want to look at all Mac's best recommendations. What about you, Kitty? What gets you going?
I don't listen to any like specific hype songs. I think all the League World songs are pretty hype, but I'm probably not the one to ask because I like sad music.
Oh, here we go.
Don't worry
We
about
have
it,
a
King.
sad girl on the
Who
desk.
hurt you, Kitty? Who hurt you?
Oh, no. Oh, no. Anyway, I believe we got one more life advice to give as well. So, Sebisora, I hope we did a good job there. Cockery_Ose. What is your dream wombo combo or one shot in League of Legends? For me, I'm chasing the 2K stacks Nasus Q. That'd be a long game. That'd be a long game, wouldn't it? Right?
Yeah, that's a good one. I actually really like that one. I like the change when they made Draven, right? More of the stacks, more gold, bigger damage on his ult. That won't be quite satisfying. I'm trying to think.
No, but like wombo combo, I feel like everyone knows my answer. Kitty, do you have one?
Wombo combo?
Yeah,
Surely it's just any like Malphite Yasuo. That's like the combo.
That's
no?
your dream wombo though?
It's not my dream wombo, but it's probably everyone else's dream wombo.
Jarvan ult, Malphite ult, Yasuo ult. What other
Dials is wrong.
Diana in there?
Draft.
Yeah. Dream Wombo
True,
combo,
true.
Direwolves.
No, okay. My wombo, it's so simple. It's just a Bard ultimate that hits 5 people, and then the Q follow-up that just stuns 2 of them after.
yeah,
dream.
Okay, bad player.
Flex the
okay.
tattoo,
Nothing
show us the
else
tattoo.
matters.
Go on, mate.
Oh, we got
Off
the
you
Bard
go.
for a reason. Can you even see it?
Oh, that
You're bringing in
reminds
shot.
me.
Here we go.
Oh, we finally get to see it. I think
There you
someone
go.
was asking that. Look at it. Is the space next to it? Is that where Amumu's going?
Yeah, actually, Mumu's going right here, like around.
Beautiful. Perfect place to have a mummy's head on your arm. Now,
True.
I just remembered, Rusty, that you didn't get to say your piece because last week, I can't remember, it was a hot take. It was like, what's the worst champs or something? And Kitty said Bard. And you weren't here to back yourself.
No, I
So-
agreed.
You agree?
No, because Kitty said, and I stand by this, Bard is one of the most elo-inflated champions that people play in solo queue. I full agree. I'm not saying that every Bard is elo-inflated, but Bard, oh my god, they are all inflated.
Okay. Well, look, I wanted a bit of tension on the desk, but all I'm getting is lovely vibes.
No,
So,
Mac, you have
know,
to remember that Bard might be my most played, but I don't play it as a one trick. I have like 15 supports that I'll play, and I pick Bard when it's free. That's the difference.
Easy game is all I'm hearing from Rusty. And I don't know if we've got one of those to finish off the day, but game number 4 is going to be banging. You guys are keen. I'm damn excited. We've got to get through another break before we jump on into the final match of the night. It's going to be Chiefs up against Order. Who's going to take the dub? Find out after this.
Hang on a minute. Nice finding. The lazy inevitable. Thunder comes down. There's the crash. There's the dash. Here is the claws to your face. Look how greedy Direwolves are in a regard. They really want to make sure that Kyose is the most fed member in this game. They are spoon-feeding him. They are donating him. And ultimately, he's 5-0 right now. Nobody else in this team is interested. It is the Kyose